Okay, everybody, welcome to the WA South Australia breakout room. Can I please beg you, if you've got a camera, don't be shy, even if you're sitting there in your Jimmy Jams or you're sitting there eating dinner, I'll just be jealous. If you've got a glass of wine, I'll be even more jealous. Pop your camera on, just so it makes it a bit more face to face. Thank you. I'm just going to answer. So Chloe has popped in the chat bar there to see if Waikiki Private Hospital in WA is part of Ramsay Health. No, it's not. So I'm Julie Jackson, the WA South Australia Fellowship Programme Coordinator, and I'm joined by Kirsty, one of our wonderful admin support, who will help me keep an eye on the chat bar and the questions. But if you do have, I'll do just a bit of an overview of what we've got available in WA. I don't know if there's anybody online from South Australia, but they're not actually recruiting mid-year. They'll be recruiting again for February for mental health at the Adelaide Clinic. So as I said, I'm Julie Jackson. So I do the WA South Australia Programme Coordinator role, but I'm also the Joondalup Health Campus Graduate Coordinator as well. So I have a couple of roles. So for mid-year, I'll start with my home hospital. So for Joondalup, we're going to be taking general med-surg, ENs and RNs. We're going to be taking midwives. We're going to be taking ENs and RNs in mental health, perioperative and paediatrics, which is very exciting because our speciality programs, we've not had mid-year intakes before. We've always only done it February. So that's for Joondalup Health Campus. Hollywood Private Hospital, they're taking general grads, ENs and RNs. They're taking mental health grads and peri-op grads. Peel Health Campus are taking med-surg grad and midwifery, and Glengarry is taking med-surg and a midwifery. So we've got quite a few positions opening in WA in mid-year, which is quite exciting. Obviously, from the presentation before, you heard, the overview of the programme, and that's the same wherever you do the programme. That was the whole point of us having a national programme, so that the graduates throughout Ramsay, it's the same format. Obviously, it's just the nitty-gritty stuff on floor level that might change a little bit depending on the speciality and the areas. So really, this is your chance to ask me questions, which is probably the best way to go. You can either pop your questions in the chat bar, but it does get a bit difficult to see, or you can pop your hand up and ask a question, or you can just take yourself off mute and shout out. It's very informal. This section is just an opportunity for you to get as much information as you can. So Cara, you've got your hand raised. What did you want to ask?
Yes, hi, how are you?
Good, thank you.
Good. I went to the Grad Connect thing earlier in the year, and they said that Ramsay was going to be going through Grad Connect this year. Did that happen?
No, that was never going to happen. That was completely incorrect information.
Excellent.
Yeah, I think there was some confusion because Peel Health Campus is currently transitioning to public health, but not until next year.
Okay.
So I really don't know. It certainly wasn't any information that I gave them. So no, Ramsay was not through Grad Connect.
Okay.
We do our own recruitment.
Okay, so I don't finish until the end of the year, so it's likely that you won't be in Grad Connect.
We will not. I
can't
can't see for the foreseeable future that we will go to Grad Connect.
Excellent, thank you.
Yeah. So you've got that from the horse's mouth. You can even quote my name.
Because I was thinking, like, that changes all the preferences, that changes all your questions.
Yeah, it is. And everything. The application process is very different.
Totally different.
Yeah.
Cool. Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. Okay, there must be other questions people have got to ask. Anything, and especially things like if you've heard whispers, because it's amazing what information is out there that even is a surprise to me sometimes when applicants say, oh, you're doing this and you're doing that, and it's like, I had absolutely no idea. No, we're not. So now's your chance to get it from the horse's mouth.
Alternatively, there's also whispers of things that we are doing.
Yes.
And, or things that we
I think our biggest, strongest selling point is that if you are successful in getting a Ramsay fellowship program, you are on a permanent contract from day one. Okay, the program is 2 years, but you are guaranteed a job at the end of that because you are given a permanent contract, which, you know, is just still absolutely blows me away.
And along with that also comes the support. So you'd be working in Western Australia or whichever state you decide to apply for, but the program is national, the support is national. So I'm based on the Gold Coast, Eileen's based down in Sydney. We've got coordinators everywhere. So there is support. Wherever you turn, there will be support for you.
And just to give you, you know, I've recently, so we've had an intake of ENs, RNs, midwives commence in February. And, you know, it's no secret, it is not, you know, out there, the workload, staffing levels, because of this thing called a pandemic, you know, it really is, it's hard work out there right now to be in healthcare. It's still, I couldn't imagine doing anything else, but it is hard. I've actually just done one-on-one meetings with each and every graduate that I have on site at Joondalup. And what they have all said to me is that, yes, it is hard. Everybody's tired, but they are feeling supported. Even though the staff are, you know, are under the pump, there's always somebody they can go to ask a question. And I think that just speaks volumes for, you know, we've shown you the video of the Ramsay Way, and, you know, we have got a strong culture. And I just think that kind of like reiterates that. So let's just have a look. I've got some questions in the chat bar. So Peel Campus turning to public, do you still apply? So at the moment, yes, for Peel Campus, please apply through our application process for the mid-year intake. Somebody is chopping vegetables. Oh, they're having something nice. So for the changeover at Peel fellowship program in 2023. So again, at the moment, the only applications that I can speak of with Peel with the transition is for the mid-year intake, which is definitely what we're doing at the moment. It's just going to be a difficult transition process. So Julie Fisher, can I ask how many programs are available for Joondalup? I'm assuming by that you mean how many positions, and you can ask, but it's not something we generally share, only because things change. We're constantly getting additional grad places, especially at the moment. So I don't want to tell you we've got 12 places, and then you might think, oh, I'm not going to wedge my bets, I'm not going to apply, but we could actually have more places. So we've got, you know, plenty of places. I think in WA we're offering just over 100 spots for mid-year in total. So if you apply to Peel and then it gets accepted and it transfers to the public hospital, it will be the same as all the staff that currently work there. You will be part of that transition. And unfortunately, I don't know what whatever contract people have got, it will depend on the agreement that Peel have got. And that's not something that I'm privy to at the moment, but it will be the same transition process as the staff that work there, because if you're given a permanent contract, then you would be a permanent staff member.
You may not have the answer for this, Julie, but if that person was then, when the transition was about to happen, if they were to say, well, I'm happy to make a move to Hollywood, is that something that we think could,
definitely. We've always had grads that swap and change due to different circumstances. I've had graduates that have accepted a place with me, but then due to family things have moved over east, and we've liaised with hospitals and have actually transferred and started their, you know, their grad program in a hospital over east, and vice versa. So, and I think that Bernie and Carmel did mention about the flexibility, and I do think that that is one of our very strong points. We're very, very flexible. If things are not going well, or you're struggling, or you need to change something, it's always worth speaking to the grad coordinator or myself, because there's usually things we can do. We've got a massive bag of tricks and we're really good at thinking outside of the box. Our part-time graduate programs, so majority of our places are part-time. certainly for Joondalup Health Campus this year, I trialled only offering 56 hours a fortnight, because what I'm finding is less and less grads are opting for 70 hours, which is 10 shifts a fortnight. And those that do tend to drop within the first 3 months, drop their hours. So I've trialled offering 56 hours, but then there's the option of picking up extra shifts if available, which, you know, let's face it, at the minute, there's plenty of extra shifts going. And the feedback I'm getting is that that's working out really well. Our theatre programmes do tend to be full-time because they do the longer shifts. So it's difficult, but you can manage it better because you get more days off because they're doing the 10-hour shifts. If 56 hours for some people may be too much because everybody's got things going on, our premise is we have our baseline hours, but if you're successful and we want you, there's always room for negotiation and about seeing what works best. It's about really, again, being flexible and figuring out what works best for you and for the hospital that you're working at. So graduate on 19th of July, will it be worth? Definitely, because it will. So if you graduate on the 19th of July, the programmes for mid-year are due to start mid-August, so around about the 15th of August. So prior to you actually finishing uni or TAFE, you can actually do your pre-registration, so you have everything in. So all they're waiting on is the uni or the TAFE to send in your results and things, and then it doesn't take much longer for the registration to come through. So yeah, definitely, I would definitely advise you to apply, Teresa. I'm due to finish my IMA this year. As you want to get into midwifery and neonatal, is there an option to do a grad programme then? Yep, so we don't offer RN programmes in maternity or neonatal. You've got to be a midwife, but certainly you can do your general grad RN programme, then work as an RN, study midwifery, and then do a midwifery grad programme, if that makes sense. Yeah, so theatre programmes, so our speciality programmes are in those areas only. So if you select the peri-op area, your whole programme is done in that area. The same with mental health, paediatrics, and midwifery. We're just looking at how the second year will be structured. So for midwifery, for here at Joondalup, your first year you rotate into birth suite, your C-sections, your ward area. And then in the second year, we'll be rotating you through antenatal clinic and home visiting and back to the ward and birth suite and things. Paediatrics, it's rotating for 6 months throughout the 2 years between the paediatric ward, paediatric ED, and the neonatal unit, so that you end up coming out as a really good all-round paediatric nurse. Mental health, we've got the open ward, the locked ward at Joondalup Health Campus, excuse me, and then when our new unit opens in 2023, you'll then rotate into adolescent mental health and older adults. At Hollywood, their mental health programme is in the Hollywood clinic. But, you know, again, depending on what opportunities are available, you may start at Hollywood and then come here. There's absolutely no limit to what we can do, providing what's available, and down to what the individual wants. Okay, I'm just keeping an eye on the time. We've got a couple of questions. What I might do in the chat bar is I'm just going to pop my email address. And if any of you come off here and think, oh my God, I wish I'd have asked that and I completely forgot, you can send me, feel free to send me an email. So I've popped my email address in there. And yet, Julie, I think that's the second year has given us so much opportunity for what people can do. And that's why when people say, what does the second year look like? It's a bit difficult because it could look differently for every single person. You know, somebody could go on and do studying and we'll support that. Somebody could go to another Ramsay hospital and we'll support that. Somebody could go from doing a general programme to a ED programme in the second year. So it's really difficult to say this is what your second year will look like, because it's going to very much depend on the individual person.
I'm just going to pop the grad recruitment email address in there as well.
Yes, thank you.
In case anybody's got any questions specific to the process, and if there was anything that you didn't get from Samrana's presentation.
Okay, so before we finish, are there any other questions? Okay, so I hope if you haven't already got your applications in, please do so. Please remember the times on the website are Eastern Standard Times, not WA times. Okay, so
because we rule it all. All of us on the East Coast, we rule it all.
So it
so
will close. It will close 2 hours earlier than what it says on the website for you guys. I've just had people miss out before, because there's always those people that leave it till the last minute. They've gone on and it's closed because it's been like 2 o'clock Eastern Standard, 2 a.m. Eastern Standard Times, and the applications have closed. So don't leave it till the last minute, because it's either you might have the timings wrong, or because everybody else who's left it as last minute is trying to, and it will crash. And unfortunately, I'm quite harsh in that I won't accept any late applications. There's like 4 or 5 weeks to get your applications in. It's about time management and planning properly. So just remember that. I'd hate somebody to miss out because they've got the timings wrong. And yes, Sarah, definitely at Joondalup we do what we call clinical enhancement programs, and we do run one in intensive care. So if that's available and there's positions available, that would be an option. Okay, well, hope you all enjoy the rest of your evening. It's only 6 o'clock here in WA, Kirsty, so we've got plenty of time for a few G&Ts and wine. Not quite bedtime yet.
Make my way home. Thanks everyone for jumping on tonight, though. It's been great having such a good number. I think we got nearly 300 people on tonight. So
wow, that's really good.
Yeah, that's really good, and it's great just to get our information out. And like we said, just reach out to us if there's any questions you have. If you do that to wake up at 2 o'clock in the morning thing and go, oh gosh, I wish I'd asked that, just send an email through.
And if you see things on the Facebook pages and stuff of people saying one thing and you think that's not quite what I heard, please come to me and ask me, because it's
because don't
Chinese
believe Facebook.
Chinese whispers is it's out there. So don't ever hesitate to email us. All right, thank you everybody.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you.